Story time, kids! A few days ago, I was sorting out my old hard drive and I found this Excel file called Social Experiment Tinder. It is a spreadsheet that I used back in the days to document all of my Tinder dates. So for each person, I have their name, the location that we met, the date that we met, and my short summary of the date and my commentary on the person. Whenever I mentioned this spreadsheet to my friends, they thought I was a serial killer. But then they all want to see the spreadsheet, but nobody actually have seen it yet. And since this time I found it, I thought, why not making it into an actual report? I summarized the data, and today I'm going to share with you what I gained from this whole experience. On top of that, I will also share a few tips on how to use Tinder and other online dating apps. Let's look at some background and scope first. Let's talk about purpose. Why was I doing this? In short, I wanted to find out what people are actually like in real world. Does that sound weird? I had a very small social circle that I didn't meet anyone outside of work. I'm just curious. I just wanted to meet some real life people. Then let's look at the scope of this whole Tinder experience. Zero hookup happened during this whole Tinder journey. It's just because that's not what I was looking for. And I say that to say, I know Tinder has a reputation of being the hookup place, but it really doesn't have to be. In the end, it's just a platform where you meet people, and you can do with whatever you want with the people you meet there. And this applies to whatever other dating apps. Whatever reputation an online dating app has, you can still make your own rules on how to use it. So this whole experience was more like a tour instead of a hunt. When you enter a Sephora store and you tell the person, I'm just looking around. You're not actually looking to buy anything, you're just looking around. So what was my standard? Since I wasn't looking for anyone serious to date, nor was I looking for a hookup, how did I pick the people I decided to meet? I had 3 standards in general. 1, they could take me to do something that I've never done before. Or they can take me to a place that I've never been before because I was pretty new to the city as well. Second standard, if they look like they have some cool story to share or they have some unique perspective. So for example, one of the guys that I met acted in The Walking Dead. And third, if they were an artist, especially a photographer or videographer or musician. I just typically find artists pretty interesting. Spoiler alert, I did meet one that is all 3. Let's now move to the data summary. In total, I went on 31 dates in 3 months. So that's on average 1 date every 3 days. I met with 24 people in total. 7 of them made it into the second date, and only 1 of them made it into a third date. That means a 29% second date rate and overall a 4% of a third date rate. 19 out of the 31 dates that I had were either within a 5 minutes range of where I lived or where I worked. So that means 61% of time, these dates were really convenient for me, and it's easy to incorporate into my daily life. And then there's my favorite part. I used a color coding system. I had blue, yellow, gray, and pink. Blue means friend. Yellow means between friends and romantic interests. Gray means completely forgettable. And there's pink, which means romantic interest. Out of the 24 people that I met, I had 6 blue, 2 yellows, 15 grays, and 1 pink. And this is the percentage of them. As you can see, the majority of the people that I met were gray, which is within my expectation. That just means after the date, I don't remember pretty much anything about them, nor do I feel the need to talk to them again. This might sound harsh, but in real life, the people that are valuable to you are going to be a very small amount. And it's not like these 15 gray people were not valuable people. It's just they're not for me. What did I actually gain out of this whole experience? I summarized it into 4 categories. 1, solid friendship. 2, skill development. 3, education. And 4, an actual partner. Solid friendship. I made 7 friends in total. 2 of them are direct and 5 of them are indirect. That is an ROI of 23%. One of them, I watched him got married and now he has a kid and they bought a house. I actually became really good friends with his wife too. And I made 5 other friends indirectly. It was a photographer model meetup. So I went to that and I met my now little Chinese sister and her several good friends. I would visit Atlanta and stay with them for a couple of days, and sometimes they visited us. When my Chinese little sister went to China this time, my mom mailed some stuff to her and she brought it back to me. We are truly lifelong friends now. I'm very grateful for meeting them. Had I not go to this Tinder date and not met that one person, I would never meet any of them. And 2, I call it skill development. I had several interests. They were only small sparks at the time. After meeting several of my Tinder dates, these tiny sparks of interests got to develop into something a little bigger. It made me realize my interest in doing relationship consulting. I got a lot of practice from communicating with people. I actually got a side gig of relationship consulting. I coached 20-something people during that time, and they all gave me pretty good feedback, and that made me realize I can be pretty good at it. 2, motorcycle. One of my Tinder dates took me on a motorcycle ride. That was a great experience. I loved that experience. And that sparked my strong interest in learning to ride motorcycle myself. And guess what? I did. I went to the motorcycle training and I now have a motorcycle driver's license. And another one is rock climbing. One of my Tinder dates have a gym membership to a rock climbing gym, and he has a guest pass, so we just did that. That rock climbing experience built the foundation of me being able to do Sky Lodge. When we went to Peru, we tried the Sky Lodge, which is a pretty intense rock climbing experience. It was 400 meters high, and I don't think I would have been able to do that without any rock climbing experience. And then Japanese. I got to go to a Japanese restaurant with a Japanese guy. I don't know, it's pretty legit to me. I remember the first time I read karaage, I said kara-age. Embarrassing. But anyways, now I have a 950-day streak on Duolingo. I also have a Japanese tutor that I meet with once a week. And the third gain, I feel like I learned a lot about other people and myself. It was very interesting to observe real-life people with different texture. It's a real-life understanding of how different people could be. It really gave me more compassion. It might sound very abstract, but that's the point of having to do it yourself. I met a French pastry chef. He told me he wanted to become a pastry chef since he was 5, and now he became one. That was very inspiring. I met a real-life gentleman. He actually opens and closes car doors for me. And another guy shared his psychedelic experience, which was completely new to me at the time. Some people are not nice. Sometimes you witness them not getting what they want and completely blow up. I also had a very bad Tinder experience. That could be another story. And that was the only time also I felt actual potential danger. I was much younger and more naive. I also learned a lot more about myself. So there's a saying, you actually don't have a self until you have a mirror to look at yourself. And every new person is a mirror. Some values that I didn't realize that I have, I got reminded. What kind of situations absolutely will piss me off? What kind of person I actually really admire. That's generally the point of being in relationships. You kind of learn more about other people and yourself. It's very efficient in that sense. And last but not least, I met my actual partner during that Tinder experience. Paul is that pink one on that spreadsheet. And I will read you my comment about Paul. It says, paid for dinner, parenthesis, a surprise. Very professional and creative photographer. Respectful and nice. Well cultured. Lots of mutual understanding. Slowly see the sexy side as well. And my summary was, want to keep in life. So at the time I wasn't looking for anything specific. I just knew in the vague idea that I sort of want to keep this person in my life in a way. I don't know how. When we reach 50K subscriber, I'm gonna do a Q&A session on how this pink spreadsheet entry turned into an actual life partner. Finally, I have some advice on how to use online dating apps. First, I use Tinder to meet real-life people, so I typically don't keep the online chatting part very long. I usually talk to them briefly to kind of make sure this is a decent person, not dangerous. And second, always choose public places to meet. I always drive by myself. It's usually the several coffee shops within 5 minutes where I lived. And I typically choose coffee because dinner is too much of a commitment. You might not like this person at all. So coffee makes it easy to get in and get out if you want within 30 minutes. And I would suggest paying for your own coffee. Even though it's a small amount, it kind of gives a mental note that you don't owe this person anything. Especially if they come to your side of town, that's just my suggestion. But even if they want to pay, coffee's not too much, which is fine. But that's also the reason I was surprised that Paul paid for dinner. I was not expecting someone to pay for dinner at all. And you're gonna like this. I wore the same outfits to most of these dates too. It was a black sweater, blue jeans, and red flats. Another one, you get some harassment sometimes. I always unmatch immediately. I just didn't have time for that. Don't waste your time trying to educate them. I'm just unmatch. Also, don't take any offense when someone ghosts you. I know it's not ideal. It's like ghosting people is a norm now, but you just have to understand people have all kinds of reasons and motivations when they get on online dating. When they meet you, they realize you're not what they're looking for whatever reason. Just like all those grays in my spreadsheet, they might think you can't do anything for them at that time. If they are not decent enough to tell you that I don't want to keep seeing you and they just ghost you, don't get offended. It took me a long time to realize that, and I remember every time I did get ghosted, I felt kind of hurt in a way, but then I finally worked it out in my brain to realize this is not necessary. Another tip, from my experience, it's better to not have an expectation or have a target. Treat it as a tour more than a hunt. You'll have more fun because it's definitely not guaranteed all your dates are gonna be pleasant. But when that happened, I just had a mindset of anything I learned from this is a game. Even if I find out this person is really annoying and I feel like they wasted my time, I still take it as a learning experience. Like, oh, now I know. I hate this. In that sense, it's still a game. When you had that mindset, it's easier to be able to keep doing it. In general, I think Tinder is just a great way of connecting with people that you would never meet in real life, and you can exchange a little bit of your knowledge, skills, stories for free. Most of the time, you just need to pay for your own coffee. And that's very productive. It helps you gain perspectives. So, would I recommend it? Hell yeah. Other than these gains that I mentioned, you might have some surprise gains. This is a very high-level report. I have some more crazy stories. One Tinder date cost me $1,300. I will talk about that in another video. If you want to hear more stories, subscribe and stay tuned. Safety first, kids. Okay, bye-bye.